Hi everyone, I'm Carolyn Isaiah and we're here with a word. God was ministering to me about the seasons changing. So today we're going to call this seasons change. And we're going to read in Ecclesiastes 3, and it talks about times, how things change, how things don't stay the same. So Ecclesiastes 3, we're going to read 1 down through 8. Everything has its time. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time for a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to throw away, a time to tear, a time to sow, a time to keep silent, a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. So God showed me about the seasons. In the natural, we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, and fall. But near the end of each season, we tend to get the correct appropriate clothing we need. If it's going to rain a lot, we might wear a rain jacket and rain boots and an umbrella. If it's going to have a lot of sunshine, we might need, sunscreen or a bathing suit. But with the seasons, our apparel changes. So the same thing in the spiritual realm. When the seasons change, so should we change. As a fleshly emotion, we tend to want to stay in old seasons. But God says in his word clearly that we're supposed to change with the seasons. The seasons are gonna change. So no matter what you're going through, sometimes it seems like forever, and sometimes it just seems like you're never gonna get through the storm or the mess or the trial. But God says the seasons always change no matter what. It's like if you're out to sea and you say you ran a lighthouse. Well, if there was a big storm coming, the appropriate terminology would be button down the hatches. So it's just us learning to move with the seasons. And no matter what you're going through, learn to button down the hatches. Learn that there's a time for everything. And yes, it just said that there's a time for war and there's a time for peace. There's a time to speak and there's a time to keep silent. So God doesn't want us to stay in the old seasons. But sometimes it takes that massive storm to get us up out of the season that we're in. Without that storm, the change wouldn't come. Just like in the natural, if there was a tsunami or a tidal wave or there was a hurricane. Well, you'd get prepared, everybody come inside and they'd start buttoning down things that was outside and you'd have everything that you would need to stay in for a while in a storm. There was just a massive storm all throughout New England and even past New England. So the point is you got prepared because you knew the storm was coming, but you're not going to stay in the storm. And that's what you have to remind yourself. That, including myself, all these messages God showed me that I give, they're for myself too. I don't just minister them to everyone else. They're for me. I learn. God gives me a word. He shows me things. I'm a very visual person, so a lot of times I will have to go through it before I can speak on it. But what I want to say is the seasons are absolutely going to change. And God wants us to be willing to change. Sometimes we like to cleave to old things. But just like there was a storm. Well, once the storm's over, you're going to walk outside. There was a massive mess. There's so many feet of snow. There's going to be a big mess. There's going to be a lot of cleanup. But it's not going to last forever. It's going to get cleaned up. The plows are going to come. The shovelers are going to come. The sun is going to shine again. The rain is going to come down and cleanse. All these things are what God has given us. And he's given us the ability to overcome the storm, stand firm in them, and move on from the season. And without the storms, we just wouldn't have the shove or the push to move on. So God bless. Good day. I hope you enjoyed this video.